Well, it's a beautiful evening here at Bealtaine Cottage, and I'm just sat here by the stove, and it's nice and warm. It's raining outside. I can just hear the rain gently falling outside. Jack is just sitting behind the sofa on his cushion. Beauty is in the bedroom, sleeping in a basket. And Sammy Bear, I think Sammy Bear's just gone out. He was here on the sofa with me for a little while. Oh, it's just so lovely to be sitting down and feet up, relaxing. I might go and get into my gym jam soon and maybe watch something on YouTube. Now I've got some beautiful flowers, which I treated myself to, look, in the market today. Let me just, I'll have to sit up a bit. I'm lolling about. I'm in a Thursday night lolling mood. So this is a beautiful flower arrangement, isn't it? And there's a lovely, lovely woman in the market, the farmer's market, and she makes these beautiful flower arrangements each week. And she does them all herself, and she just sells them on her stall. So I thought, well, this week I had a little bit of extra money, and I thought, you know, Colette, treat yourself. So to all of you who have made any donations at all over the past month or so, I want to say thank you, because I bought myself some flowers. So they're just gorgeous, and I'm just going to appreciate them so much. Oh, there you are, Sammy Bear. I love beautiful things. And there's nothing can beat the beauty of nature. Let me just give you a wee close-up on this, actually. Look at this, look, this is gorgeous. Isn't it beautiful? Look at the sweet little basket and the moss. Isn't that lovely? And tulips and iris and, oh, wildflowers, forsythia. Gorgeous. So I feel very blessed. Now, I've got my clicky-clacky shoes on. See, because I've been out today. Look at my fancy shoes. This is called getting dressed to go out. You know, I may be 62, but I do try to keep up with all the trends. And I have a bit of a penchant for the Gothic. Yes, indeed, Jack. Well, if I went Gothic, Jack, you'd have to be dressed as a little pirate or something. You could be my little pirate dog. Like, Jack, that would make a fabulous photograph. Colette is a goth and Jack is a pirate. Right, okay. So I'm going to set this camera down just on the back of the sofa. And we'll kind of point it towards the fire a little bit. Let me see. I don't know, is that picking up the fire? Okay. Right. Now, as a little treat, and seeing as I'm on my own, I'm going to read a little bit of my book, A Cottage in 3 Acres. I was going to say available from all good booksellers, but I never managed to get a publisher for this book, so I had to self-publish, and so I sell it from my website, okay? So there's always a link underneath these videos for those of you who want to support the Bealtaine Project. So I'm going to read chapter 5, and it's called A Woman on Her Own. Jack says, but you're not on your own, Mum. I'm here. Yes, I know, darling. So, a woman on her own. For the most part, my work on the land went unrecognised. I was a woman living on her own, planting trees in rushy land. I rather suspect many people regarded me as eccentric at best and positively mad at worst. For my part, I cared not a fig. I was a woman possessed, sowing, planting and dreaming trees and Eden. My passion for growing spurred me on to create raised beds using stone that I was forever digging out of the ground. In these potager beds I grew vegetables and fruit. The success of this led me to thinking about the excess food and what to do with it all. I decided to let them sell themselves via an honesty stall by the gate. Now, by the way, for those of you who have not purchased the book, there are photographs in this book that you have never seen before, and I'm going to share one of them with you. I can find it. It's a little picture of the honesty stall down by the gate. So when people say to me, oh, how did you manage in the early years and blah, 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 there are so many different things that I did. Not all of them legal. But one of them was an honesty stall by the gate down on the road. Here we go, look at this. Can you see that? See? And I made it myself. In fact, you see the top of it here? This is actually outside over near the old hen house. And I've got wood stored underneath because this is an old table and then I built this on the top, you see? Right, so let me find the chapter again now. Where did I go? Right. Now where did I get up to? Oh yes. Via an honesty stall by the gate. This involved making a table. I'm just going to take this camera and I'll hold it in my hand because look at what this boy was doing. He's just going to sit and listen to me. Okay. This involved making a table with a roof cover, painting it bright blue, stacking it high with homegrown and homemade produce, and relying on the honesty of passers-by to drop the price of the goods into a tin by the gate. 6 years into this compulsive work, as the outline of a woodland began to manifest, I decided to take tentative steps towards spreading the word of what was happening at Bealtaine Cottage, and got hold of a second-hand and rather bulky laptop. I accessed the world via dial-up. Do you remember dial-up? The earliest form of internet connection here in the west of Ireland. It was possible to brew a pot of tea, make 2 slices of toast and have it all consumed between switching on the laptop and being connected to the net. That's true. However, as little ever deters me, it was only a short time before Bealtaine Cottage made it out past the 3 acres and into the big world. I'm laughing at you know who peeping up at me like this is ridiculous because he's wagging his tail as well. Look at that. Look at this silly boy, honestly. The antics. I think he likes to act the clown. Sorry, I didn't mean that, Jack. You don't. Permaculture was an unusual topic for a blog, but what I was doing here in a small cottage on 3 acres in the west of Ireland interested those who happened to stumble across the website. Bealtaine was growing both in the Irish earth and the hearts of many who wanted to touch base with a simpler, more rewarding way of living. From the very beginning, there has been so much goodwill that at times I have become quite emotional and overwhelmed. Letters began to trickle in. Emails arrived. Birthdays were noted and celebrated by people I had never met. Some sending me gifts of homemade dedication and love. such as hand-knitted socks and homemade biscuits and even a cake. If I was trying to raise funds for a specific item, such as a camera or laptop, donations came in fast. I have always been honest and let everyone know when a target has been reached. Working with the permaculture ethics of care of the earth, care of people, return of surplus to earth and people, also called fair share. Living in this way has taught me never to worry too much about being in need, as the karma in giving really does return to bless you. Planting 3 acres from scratch is a difficult task. The work is physically hard and certainly takes its toll on the human body. Supplying the trees and shrubs and plants can be very expensive. Here I was, a woman on her own with no money. In response to the latter problem, I set about creating a nursery area near the shelter of the cottage, where I could grow as much as possible from seeds and cuttings. I can safely add that almost everything growing at Bealtaine Cottage will grow from cuttings and seeds. Wherever I went, I managed to bring back something for the gardens. It's amazing just how many tiny saplings are crammed along the edges of roads or packed tight under mature trees, with little or no chance of successfully developing. I rescued dozens of potential trees in this way, bringing them home and potting them up as quickly as possible before placing them in the nursery beds, where each one would be nurtured and coaxed into development. Each journey I made in the car doubled up as a sourcing expedition for the gardens. I used the plural as the land was being laid out in a naturally evolving plan that encompassed areas best suited to needs: a vegetable garden, an orchard, woodland, and so on. Even though the land appeared tired and useless, it was in fact covered in areas of microclimate: wet, dry, stony, peat, clay, and masses of underlying bedrock that appeared as enormous slabs of sandstone all over the land. I had reached the end of my first year on the Bealtaine Project when, as it was being referred to, when I was called upon to look after my 2 grandsons, due to my daughter becoming ill. The boys lived in London with their mother, and in the early part of year 2, I moved from the role of grandmother to mother of 2 young boys aged 6 and 7, when they came to live with me at Bealtaine Cottage. For the next year, I continued to plant and tend the gardens in between school runs, cooking, baking, entertaining, and caring for my 2 lively boys. It's amazing how much energy creates energy, for I found myself often planting in the dark, and this is true, with an improvised miner's lamp on my head after both boys were in bed asleep. Do you know, when I look back on that, I think to myself, Colette, you're mad. Living in a small cottage without television or nearby entertainment, Dylan and Dominic learned to live in the country. Torches for evening walks, wellies as regular footwear, and backpacks stuffed with raincoats became the way of everyday life, a far cry from London. At the end of a year, when my daughter had fully recovered, the boys refused to go back to London, and so Cara moved to Ireland, where they have all lived nearby ever since. Now, there we go. And you know, Jack benefits so much from Dylan and Dominic because he absolutely adores them. He loves them. He sees them as part of his pack. Oh, and there's There's a little fella there who sees himself as the leader of the pack. He says, I love Jack. So I'm going to be pushed off this sofa. Between Jack and Sammy Bear, I'm being pushed off my own sofa. What's the world come to? So, okay, I'll put the book down there. I'm going to go and load this video up. I hope you all enjoyed that reading. And all the reviews that have come in from about this book have been superb. If you want to leave a little review about A Cottage and 3 Acres in the comments section underneath, please feel free to do so. Now, well, there are eyes upon me. Right, let me go and load this up. So blessings to you all. And for those of you celebrating on all different levels, I mean, there are so many people with so many different belief systems who are friends of Bealtaine Cottage. You subscribe, you're there for your friends. So there's so many different celebrations happening this weekend. Oh, is that my little girl going out? It is. Are you going out? She is too. There are so many different celebrations happening this weekend, but you know what my philosophy is? Any excuse for a celebration, get out there and celebrate. So have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, everybody. And I hope to talk to you tomorrow. Blessings to you all.